Welcome, everyone, to the Newvision Oldways podcast, a greatly ambitious journey of discovery where we can all learn to live better, mentally healthier, and more fulfilling lives. If you're just discovering us, feel free to go back and take the journey from the beginning. And if you're already a Newvision Oldways fan, welcome back and enjoy season
5.
And now, here is your host, Tony Marinaccio.
You are listening to Newvision Oldways, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
Welcome, everyone, to the Newvision Oldways podcast. And this episode is an unexpected and quite heartbreaking episode for many reasons. But what, of course, spurred this on was the senseless and cowardice murder of Charlie Kirk. Upon hearing the news and circumstances around this horrific event, I felt compelled to immediately write a blog article that you can find on the Revelations blog and news page on the newvisionoldways.com website. There is a link in the show notes. Of course, feel free to comment and let me know what your thoughts are about what I wrote. So I wasn't going to record an episode about this because at that moment that I wrote the article, I felt like I got most of my thoughts out there. But as usual, my mind kept going and I could not shy away from digging deeper into why this had to happen. As of this recording, the killer is still on the loose. He's still out there. Hopefully that changes very soon. And also, to make matters worse, on the same day as we watched Charlie Kirk murdered in front of a crowd of people, there was another school shooting at a suburban Denver high school. Throw in a recent video of an innocent young lady getting stabbed to death on a commuter train, a Labor Day weekend full of violence and killings in Chicago, and you would think we are in a real-life nightmare that we cannot wake up from. But yet, I woke up this morning still filled with the hope and the love for life that I have always had. Why? Because the faithless, ignorant, controlled patsy that is responsible for Charlie's murder did the opposite of what he was trying and or paid to do, which was silence a true man of God, a man with great courage, a devoted family man, and a man with unrelenting love for his country. Instead, what the spineless shooter did was what always happens in these instances. He unleashed an even greater power that he could have not ever imagined. Charlie's voice was not silenced, it was magnified. The movement that he and others started has not been slowed down or stopped. It has been given a high-powered fuel injection to steamroll forward like never before. He has not scared anyone. In fact, he has galvanized us to reject this evil and eradicate the brainwashed, induced ideals that have caused the terrible acts like this that I just mentioned earlier to happen. These acts are a direct result of a nation, a world for that matter, that is suffering a mental breakdown. People are so weak-minded that understanding the difference between right and wrong is a real struggle for them. Their minds are easily controlled by the media, by social media, by peer groups, by universities that have been reduced to breeding grounds of hate. A factor we have to face here is polarization. Social media algorithms amplify outrage, news outlets reward sensationalism, and people retreat into echo chambers where everyone who disagrees with them are an enemy. This is, and always has been, dangerous. When we stop seeing each other as fellow human beings and start seeing each other only as opponents, we make violence thinkable. Dehumanization is the first step towards justification. And I'm going to repeat that. Dehumanization is the first step towards justification. Once you believe someone is a threat to everything you value, harming them can start to feel like self-defense. This isn't new. History is full of moments when societies become so fractured that political violence becomes common. Think of the 1960s when the assassinations of public figures shook the nation. JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., Robert Kennedy, Malcolm X. In each case, Polarization, distrust, and fear were at a boiling point. But here's the difference today. We have a global, real-time communication factor now that we didn't have before, which means the anger spreads faster and the threats escalate at lightning speed. So what do? First, we have to be honest about our own roles in the cycle. Every time we share a post meant to humiliate the other side, every time we refuse to listen because we've already made up our minds, every time we use words like Nazi, enemy, racist to describe people who simply think different, we are turning up the heat. This isn't about agreeing with everyone. It's about disagreeing without stripping away their humanity. We also need to focus on healing, individually and collectively. And a few ideas in this matter can come from strengthening community, building real-world connections. Digital isolation fuels anger. Normalize mental health care. Therapy shouldn't be a luxury. It's a basic maintenance for the mind. Practice cognitive reappraisal. Learn to reinterpret events before you react. This can turn a spiral of rage into a moment of growth. Model civil discourse. Show that you can debate passionately without resorting to cruelty, which was always a part of Charlie Kirk's message. Choosing nonviolence in a world that rewards outrage as an act of courage. Choosing to talk when you'd rather fight is an act of leadership. Choosing to see your opponent as a human being, not a caricature, is an act of vision. This is what Newvision Oldways is about. A new way of being. We can't wait for the world to calm down. We have to be the ones who calm it down. If today's conversation challenged you, sit with it. Ask yourself where you might be feeding the cycle and where you can break it. Violence doesn't just happen in the headlines. It starts in the heart. And if we're going to have a future worth living, we need to lift each other up, not drag each other down for simply disagreeing. Charlie was murdered because he was fearless in his convictions, but also he was kind and generous to all. His intelligence and willingness to engage was second to none. His life was ended because he told the truth, a truth that many are unwilling to hear because it will shed light on their own miserable lives. He had the courage to sit in front of hostile crowds and debate the important issues of our time. The killer had no courage, just a coward on a roof, pointing a gun at a man that was just talking. Yep, talking. So for those of you who applaud this horrific act, take time to think about what you are applauding and realize the problem is really you. Not Charlie or anyone that does what Charlie does. You need to fix your own life. You need to realize that the rest of us are refusing to suffer because you are. We will gladly help you along the way, but lashing out to the world because you hate yourself is and always will be a pathetic, ignorant, and useless life. That may sound cruel to some, but what is crueler than shooting an innocent man, a devoted family man, a man of faith, and a man who spoke the truth? Not a distorted truth, but actual truth. He had the courage to be there and face crowds filled with haters and supporters as well, and treat everyone with the same humanity. Even though many were on opposite sides, Charlie was willing to engage. That's more than I can say for all the triggered folk that can't handle the truth. In fact, they were at many times just triggered because he was there, just simply there. Well, do you feel better now, all of you triggered people? Do you feel that your life has improved greatly because you got rid of Charlie? Well, I've got some really bad news for you. Charlie may be physically gone, but his message will now be carried forward even more loudly than ever. We will gladly take his physical place on the hateful university campuses, and what will you do now? Try to kill us all? Good luck with that. Maybe a better option would be to use the techniques that I talk about in almost every episode and improve yourself. Put an effort into your own life and stop blaming others for your misery. I, or people like Charlie, Candace, Ben, Matt, are all not your problem. Stop laying your problems at the feet of others. Get the help that you need. Get your mind and body healthy. See the world in reality, not through digital devices, and appreciate life. Respect life, love life, and each other. But it all starts in your heart. Take a peek in there and find out what needs to be fixed. None of us are perfect. None of us are pure. But the imperfections don't need to be magnified. They need to be cared for, learned from, and used to build a better you, a better me, a better world. That's all that Charlie was trying to do. Build a better world. What is more noble than that? Rest in peace, Charlie. We will love and support your family, your friends, and your message. A job well done, sir.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
This has been a special presentation of the Newvision Oldways podcast, written, produced, and engineered and hosted by Tony Marinaccio.